was his deep interest in corporate training. He had been quite closely associated with radio broadcasting. So, without wasting any moment, welcome to the show, Sitesh.
Thank you, Kanchan. It's great to see you again after so many days. And I think people are free from their festivities and the focus on the work brings them back. And that's a very interesting day. How have you been?
Yeah,
I see you full of winter clothing.
yes, actually, I am towards northern India, and it's chilling, and that's why I'm I'm wearing woolen clothes, and I'm coping up with the winter, northern winter, which is very popular, especially somebody who's coming from Hyderabad.
Yes, yes. But at least I can safely say that Kanchan is completely chilled out at this time.
Yes, truly. And though I really love winters because I love this weather and I'm enjoying. So
Yes.
it's good. So
Yeah, yeah. Winter brings back good memories from North India. The green vegetables availability in the markets, the fresh vegetables, green vegetables, and eating those spicy stuff in the winter. Wow! And the steam coming out of the cup of tea and coffee, it adds to the ambience. It must be great. And I want to celebrate the winters in the Himalayas.
yes, very truly put forward. I am really enjoying this winter. And today we have a topic of discussion about the White Revolution. You know, India celebrates National Milk Day on 26th November in the memory of Dr. Verghese Kurian, fondly known as father of White Revolution. And you know, Sitesh, that in 2014, all the dairy majors of country, along with the Indian Dairy Association, resolved to observe Dr. Kurian's birth anniversary, which is on 26th November, as a National Milk Day, which is day after tomorrow.
Oh, really? That's very interesting. And Dr. Kurian has always been my inspiration and motivation from my childhood days. And I read his biography or autobiography many years back when I was growing up in college. And I have kept wondering about Dr. Kurian Kanchan, that the man who could have gone out and taken any plum job in India or outside India. He stayed back on a request from our first Prime Minister, Pandit Nehru, and he gave himself and his life for bringing the white revolution, as you said, and he literally became the milkman of India. And Amul is a proof of it. Amul as his baby is a proof of it. And countless generations have grown up on the love of Dr. Kurian, which is known as Amul, isn't it?
Yes, and you know, in 1965, then Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri asked Korean to replicate the dairy Anand's pattern nationwide, for which National Dairy Development Board was founded under Korean, on his condition that this will be independent of government control, and that will be set up at Anand, away from the capital and closer to farmers. So, Dr. Kurian, another pattern of dairy cooperative was based on using suitable top-down and bottom-up approach. So that
That's interesting, and it is actually very interesting to see that India, which was always known as the country where the milk flows freely, to quote in Hindi, "दूध की नदियां बहती थीं," uh, to see that in the modern India, if it was not for Dr. Kurian, probably we would have not seen that old saying, a mythological saying, in reality. That's what I feel.
yes, yeah, he has done a great contribution when it comes to self-reliant among the farmers, as well as surplus supply of milk. The Operation Flood started the White Revolution in India and made our country self-sufficient in milk, and that is a great achievement.
That it indeed is a great achievement, and I think that needs to be celebrated by drinking healthy milk. We remember countless number of advertisements, doodh, and I know all those advertisements of early Doordarshan days. We need to donate milk to undernourished children. We need to donate the milk into the charities. And in fact, United Nations has a World Milk Day on June 1. And I think it is also important to remember Dr. Kurian not only for bringing Amul to life, but creating an industry single-handedly. I mean, if we can think that he can be considered as the father of Indian dairy industry, which now has seen as NDDB, as you said. And then we come before Amul. If you remember, we used to have Paulson butter, and people were very fond of it. And Amul came and changed the whole game plan. It gave it into the farmer's control, and over the years, the quality, the control, there is Nestle, there is Go, there are some other dairy products in this country. And I think people nowadays, I hear that some entrepreneurs are trying to get into dairy business, dairy entrepreneurship. I mean, thanks, unlimited thanks to Dr. Kurian, who saw or who made it possible for all of us.
Yes, today, Sitesh, around 12 million farmers in more than 22 states across India owns 250 dairy plants and handling about 20 million items of milk a day, 20 million liter of milk of day. So it was achieved not merely by mass production, Sitesh, but by production by the masses. And that is a great contribution, putting everything at one place, syncing commerce and production together. And we are really thankful for the kind of white revolution he initiated.
Yes, Kanchan. And I remember in 2011 Economic Times Excellence Award, where he was conferred the award along with other luminaries of his time. And he made some of those statements, which I remember very, very fondly. And these are, one statement he says that India's place in the sun would come from the partnership between the wisdom of its rural people and the skill of its professionals. He said this, Dr. Kurian said this while he accepted the Lifetime Achievement Award in that year. The second statement that he made was even more iconic. The milk of India is produced by millions of small and marginal farmers and landless laborers. It is on their behalf and on their name that I accept this high honor. These were the profound words of a man who shunned all the glamour and glitz of his times in the corporate world or in the government sector. And he chose to lead this kind of a life. And then he also said, India needs to show an honest face, a kind face, a human face, and not an arrogant face as the powerful nations of today. So Dr. Kurian kind of a people were the product of the socialist India. And I think we need them more. We need Dr. Kurian kind of people more and more in this country when we are moving towards a consumerist and capitalist society. Isn't that correct?
Yes, definitely. And due to this white revolution, dairy farming has become made India the largest self-sustainable rural employment generator. And Operation Flood, also, we called this white revolution as Operation Flood also, which was launched in on 13th January 1970 and was the world's largest dairy development program and landmark project of India's National Dairy Development Board. You know that it transformed India into a from cell milk deficient to a world's largest milk producer, surpassing American milk production also.
That is truly inspiring, especially for the kids today who think that milk comes from the shopping malls. I remember asking some children while I was in Japan, do you know where does the milk come from? And they said it comes from the nearest shopping mall. And as parents, we all got worried. We took them to a dairy farm to showcase how a milk is taken out and how it is packaged and how it reaches our homes. And it is also important, Kanchan, to understand when Amul was taking shape under the guidance of Dr. Kurian. uh, Many people would remember filmmaker Shyam Benegal. He made a movie called Manthan, which is nothing but a churning of milk ocean in Hindu mythology. And this story is loosely based on the Amul story, and it became a huge success of its time. And uh, Dr. Kurian got another idea with that. He basically would tour to the other parts of the country, and he would try to work with bring up other cooperatives. And there are many cooperatives in the country today. In Bangalore, we see Nandini Milk. I'm sure Hyderabad has got one such cooperative, and in Bombay we have RA Milk. So I think it all became a cascading effect of Dr. Kurian's personality. And I wonder, Kanchan, how do you develop such kind of a personality? How do you develop, how can you leave away the trappings of this modern capitalist and consumerist world and become the personality that Dr. Kurian was?
Yes, I'm sure because I have read that it was a huge task as it was this whole revolution was implemented in three phases. In first phase from 1970 to 1980 was financed by the sales of skimmed milk powder and butter oil. And this during this phase, Operation Flood linked 18 of India's premier milk shed with the consumer in India's major metropolitan cities like Delhi, Mumbai, Calcutta, Chennai, established a mother dairy in four metros. And Sitesh, in phase second, Operation Flood was from 1981 to 1985, increased the number of milk sheds from 18 to 136. The urban market also expanded the outlet of milk from small to 90. By the end of 1985, the self-sufficient system of 43,000 villages cooperative with 4 lakhs something to produce producers were covered. Now in phase 3, in 1985 to 1996, enabled dairy cooperative to expand and strengthen the infrastructure required to procure and market increasing volume of milk, and veterinary first aid healthcare services feed were also extended. So I think this is an overall structure which was planned and implemented right from a down towards up, because veterinary services were also included so that animal also don't suffer and became a part of it. And again, all farmers and cooperatives are interlinked. It's a huge task.
Yes, it is. The work that Dr. Kurian started is far from being over. And because the kind of work which he inspired, it needs continuous motivations, because it is still not an easy task. Though it is not yet industrialized like in other big nations. And therefore, the the work that he started, it needs to be joined by more such people. They need to be celebrated, they need to be brought out. I mean, you may not have a personality like Dr. Kurian all the time to tackle the politicians, tackle the regional leaders, or the regional milkman or the businessman. And therefore, but we can always have a guiding principle, a guiding governmental authority and consultation. And to tell you the fact that Dr. Kurian in his later years, he wanted to do other great things beyond Amul, and he started something which we know as IRMA, which is IRMA, Indian Rural Management Association, and there was a college as well for rural management, and he was the founding chairman of it. And so there has been his life and his times should be seen from a person who was clean, and his integrity could not have been questioned. And that is these kind of people, they bring transformational change in any country. And therefore, it is important for all of us to go back and have a cup of milk, and tell our children that the cup of milk that we hold in our hand has been made possible by a great man, and how it was problematic back then and how easy it has become today.
Yes, very true. And during that time, during this white revolution, a national milk grid was also created, which was linked with the producers throughout India to consumer near around 700 towns and cities, and reducing seasonal and regional prices variation while ensuring that producers get a major share of profit by eliminating middlemen. So, Sitesh, the middleman elimination is not a new concept. It was always there in India, but people have actually relied more on middlemen, isn't it? So now nobody likes to have middlemen. I think it's a part of nationalism, and I think people should rise above their petty differences, come out and contribute to the national growth by taking up any idea. There's so many help is required from rural sector to middle, even middle class also required. Many innovations should come out in the market.
That's right. And as I said, there are some milk entrepreneurs in the country who have started the business around the dairy, and there are at least 5 or 6 organic milk startups in India. And it is very, very gratifying to see that investors are interested in dairy farming. Interest we when it comes to entrepreneurship in India, more or less we always think about information technology. But I'm so happy to see the milk entrepreneurs. I'm so happy to see leather entrepreneurs, the VCs, the venture capitalists, and the angel investors putting the money where they say they want to put it, at least in the public forums. And it is great to see that Dr. Kurian has been instrumental. See, I can tell you, Kanchan, that the milk cooperative movement in India did not begin with Varghese Kurian, because as we know that India was a milk country. Milk used to flow here. There were other earlier partnerships and cooperatives we always had. What Dr. Kurian did, and what means to be a Dr. Kurian, is to consolidate the farmers, the agriculturists, the dairy, the production, the distribution, the supply, the branding. That was Dr. Kurian. That was his body of work. And therefore, sometimes I feel that why Dr. Kurian was not considered for our highest civilian award, Bharat Ratna. And That pains me, but I will leave that for our some other day political discussions, Kanchan.
Yeah, so and in the end, I just like to say that it's a big salute to Dr. Kurian, and it was nice talking to you, Siddesh, today on this subject. Till next time, we meet. You take care. Bye bye.
Thank you, Kanchan. Have a great day ahead.